one. It is already got our standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, and we have our equal to y. Step one is to get it set equal to 0. We're replacing y with 0. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. Okay, and then I want to factor. Now, in the last one, A was not 1, and there was no GCF to pull out. Here, A is not 1, but is there a GCF I can pull out to kind of reduce the size of these numbers I'm dealing with? All of those are divisible by what? All divisible by 2. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out my GCF of 2. I always am going to do GCF first if possible. So all of these are divisible by 2. I don't know why my 2 is not writing on all of those. So what's that going to leave me with when I take out that 2? Yeah, that'll be 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. All still equal to 0. Now, I don't actually have to worry about that 2. There's no x on it. It's not a factor because it's for being multiplied right now, right? So to move it to the other side, I could divide, couldn't I? What would happen if I did 0 divided by 2? It'd still be 0. So that 2 is going to have no effect on our factors. You can just drop it, ignore it. Now, if there had been a GCF that had an x and you pulled out an x, you can't just get rid of your x. That's a factor. But just this number, I can just ignore it for now. I'm just going to focus on this trinomial. Okay, A is still not 1. Okay, so let's try either grouping or box method. Okay, we're focusing on this trinomial right here. Whether you're doing grouping or box method, you probably want to start with your x. Remember where we put a times c in the top and b in the bottom? Remember this is a, b, and c here. So what is a times c? Negative 30. And b is negative 7. And I'm asking myself what multiplies to negative 30 but adds to negative 7. You can list out the factors. Some people like to organize it as a table. So the factors of AC could be, well, first of all, it multiplies to a negative. So I know I'm going to have one positive and one negative, right? Okay, so it could be 30 and negative 1 or negative 30 and positive 1. It could be 15 and negative 2 or negative 15 and positive 2. It could be 6 and negative 5 or negative 6 and positive 5. Any other factors of 30 you can think of? 10 and 3. Good, I left one off there. Negative 10 and 3 or positive 10 and negative 3. Did we get them all? All right, so now we're looking for which set of those factors adds to negative 7. So let's go through. Negative 30 and 1, definitely not. 15 and 2, definitely not. What about 6 and 5? Nope. 10 and 3, the difference is 7. Okay, but which one do we want to be the positive and which one do we want to be the negative? We want a negative 7 for our sum. That one would have given us positive 7. So that's not it. That's the one. So it's negative 10 and positive 3. Now, what you do with these numbers is you are replacing your b term. Instead of negative 7x, we're going to write it as negative 10x and 3x, right? Do y'all want to do it as grouping or box method? Grouping? Okay. So I'm going to make that substitution. 2x squared stays as is, but here I'm going to change this to minus 10x minus 3x, and then minus 15 stays as is. So I just substituted right there. That's the only difference I have. But now I have 4 terms, and I'm ready to do grouping. First 2 terms together, second 2 terms together. So GCF here would be 2x, and that would leave me with x minus 5. GCF here would be negative 3, and that would leave me with x. That would, if I divide out a negative though, that's going to leave me with x plus 5. Something's wrong here. Let's see, because you want your leftovers to come out the same. So let me check.
Could we divide by?
But then our x would be left negative, which wouldn't match this. So they're not matching up. Let me look back through. It's possible if this happens, sometimes that means this is not factorable. So it either means this is not factorable or we made a mistake. So I'm going to go back and check. 10 and 3. What do you mean? Y'all have a good one. Oh, that's it. Yes, that was supposed. It is a positive 3 here. That's a positive 3. That should have been a plus 3. Thank you. Good catch. Okay, I don't know. That's so weird that we both did it. Okay, very good catch. I was like, I think this one factors. So yeah, that was our mistake. Thank you. So yeah, it was negative 7. So it should have been negative 10 and positive 3. So we just factor out a positive 3, and that would leave it as x minus 5. So then our leftovers do match. That's what we're looking for. So that's a factor. And then we bring those together as our second factor. Then we're ready for our split and solve. So we end up with x is 5. And then this one, I would subtract the 3 over, and then I would have to divide by the 2. So I get negative 3 halves. That's a negative there. So those are our 2 solutions for that one. Let me stop this recording real fast.